Hello, it's Guy. I want to start this video by just giving you a little update on what I feel is happening because there's so much happening and I think all of us can feel it somehow. It seems like everybody is more or less shaken in their own ways and confronted with their own challenges of whatever kind. And just feeling like things are not the way they were anymore. And for me, it's been the past couple of years, I've been feeling that things, I cannot continue things the way that I used to do them anymore in my work and also in general somehow. And I feel a little bit in between dimensions, as I described in my last video. And lately I feel that the pull is very much towards the new. So I have to find a new plane of operation, so to speak, in doing things. And that means just understanding much more that every action that I take has a vibrational impact. Every thought that I make has a vibrational impact. And I've been told by my star people lately, clean your thoughts so that you can become transparent. Meaning, if everybody could read every one of my thoughts, that would be okay or allowed. Like, I don't think a thought that somebody shouldn't be able to see or should be hidden. No bad thoughts, no negative thoughts, no about someone. And there's so many negative thoughts that kind of creep into our brain, during the course of the day. If we go around and we look at someone and something is annoying us, or we think, oh, this person is weird, or we're thinking a negative thought about somebody, to really watch my thoughts and see, can I show them to everybody? And do they how would they affect someone if they were spoken? So yeah, and realizing that also every thought that I take about my situation, my environment, my day, am I in a state of gratitude? Am I in a state of am I calm, or am I just running around like a headless chicken, hurrying from one thing to the next? So yeah, I feel that I have to say goodbye to the old and really walk into the new, which is not governed by the old principles that we were living our lives by. And also just surrendering every aspect of my life to the divine, meaning that I want to be an instrument of the divine. I want um, to be inspired in everything that I do by this life force, rather than by my own little ego box and my own imagination of what the world should look like, or how my day should look like, what my day should look like, or how I should look like. Yeah, so lately I just feel that the old is just stopped working. It's not possible to continue things the way that they have been done. Um, and really, yeah, live my daily life from this perspective. So yeah, that's just like a quick update to what I feel the energies are. I also feel like the old is continuously losing power, where in the past I felt there was just a lot more attention that I would give to all the news and everything that was happening in the world, and that seems to be getting less and less, because it doesn't have the same essence anymore. It feels like it's all crumbling, and the new is coming in with such force that this needs all our attention and our presence. And then I had this conversation 2 days ago at a party where I was in the kitchen, and there was this girl, an Italian girl, and we spoke about yeah, she said something like, oh yeah, you can order your food online or something, and I said, oh yeah, but I'm not really doing that very much. I don't usually use my phone to do things like that. And then she started saying to me that she, along with a lot of other people she said around her, suffered from depression, where a lot of times she just kind of just stayed in her bed or at home and did everything online, and just from her mobile phone, and it's her only connection with the world, kind of a little bit like in the movie Surrogates with Bruce Willis, where everybody has an avatar and is actually is presented to the world in this beautiful body, super fit, and doing all these amazing things, while the actual person is lying sick in bed and is just like a vegetable. And she said that she just felt that she wasn't enough, that this world is too fast, that she she's not successful enough, she's not beautiful enough, not slim enough, you know. Um, so just always being confronted with this image of how everybody should be and not being able to live up to it. And it was funny because the day before I had caught myself thinking that how do people manage to do all these things in one day? It doesn't have that many hours. And then they upload all this stuff on social media. I just don't find the time for that. So how does that work? And I was tempted to feel somewhat unsuccessful. I did feel a little bit unsuccessful because I thought everybody else can do it. Why can't I do it? You know? And then I had this conversation with this girl in the kitchen there, who told me all this about her and so many others, where she says that a lot of people feel that way. They present themselves, you know, great on social media, or anyway, anytime they go out into public, where actually the way they feel is they just can't live up. And our daily lives have become so fast, trying to keep up with the speed of a computer, basically, because our speed has been kind of adjusted to the speed of a computer. And she gave this example that when we used to write letters, it took a time for the letter to arrive, it took a time for the letter to be written, to be posted, all these things. So the person who received the letter actually received something special, that took time to arrive, and maybe also time for the person to prepare for it to arrive. So looking forward to it and waiting for it. And now we just send an email, it's there in seconds. So basically, we live in a society where everything is super fast, and we are being suggested we have to keep up with the rhythm that we cannot keep up with because we are human. We are not a computer. And it's not a natural rhythm to pack so much into our day and so much into our week and not having time to breathe almost, and to really take care of ourselves, to really feel ourselves. So the society is showering us with images and messages that completely even in all individuality and try to get us all into the same rhythm, following these standards that are being set collectively, rather than everybody finding their own rhythm, finding their own individuality, finding their own beauty, their own nature. And so we look outside and we see these rhythms and we see these standards and we try to live up to them. And somehow we're continuously left with the feeling of not being able to do it enough. And that generates this feeling of not being enough, of having to do more, of being unworthy, or needing to try harder to keep up. And it also directs our attention away from the moment and the beauty and the miracle of everything that's in front of us every single moment. Because we're always focused on something outside of ourselves that we have to live up to. And if we actually return to what's there in the moment, there's so much beauty which we don't ever see really, because we're always with our mind elsewhere. And that's also this pace of society that gets us running and gets us headless and gets us always trying to keep up and run after everything, you know. You always need to be busy. Like when somebody asks you, oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm so busy. It's like it's like you need to say this in order to be a worthy member of society, you know, being super busy and having all these things to do and just not finding time, you know. It's just all so much work. But that's not natural. That's not what a human being is made for. And my star people once told me, start the dialogue with everything that is around you. And that's also something that I discovered at some point, that you can really speak. You can speak to everything. You can speak to objects, you can speak to plants, you can speak to the sun, you can speak to anything you want to. Really start the dialogue. And that's when you really immerse into the moment, when you get into resonance with something, that with everything that's around you. Because, for example, if you speak to a person, you don't just think of I don't know what and don't pay attention to what the person says. You have this person in front of you, you look the person into the eyes, and ideally anyway, and then you concentrate on what you get from that person. What kind of feeling do you get? What can I say to this person? Or what you concentrate on the conversation and you have an exchange. This exchange is not really possible if your mind is completely elsewhere. You don't really enter into a dialogue with someone unless you give them your full attention. And this is the same thing with everything around us. Unless we give what is around us our full attention, we cannot have this dialogue and be inspired by all these miracles that are happening, you know. Um, Usually people think that everything around us is just boring or simple or not great enough or not interesting enough, and we need huge highlights, you know, be in the limelight, have professional success, I don't know, do these amazing things, and all of that's very nice, but do we really appreciate the simple things in life? Just, you know, something that seems super normal can have this or has this incredible beauty when you really actually um, start resonating with it. And I saw this in somebody else a little while ago, who had this incredible way of getting into resonance with this cat that he was taking care of. And by getting into resonance, he could really feel the cat, what the cat wanted, and yeah, how it reacted and reacting in response to the cat's behavior or reaction. And I saw how the cat started blooming under his hands. And yeah, this happens with everything that we get into a dialogue with, that we get into a resonance with, this exchange that can lead to this basically to bringing out the light in everything that's around us. And we are made to think that all of that is super boring. It's not worthy our attention. And we always have to aspire to great things, you know. Yeah, and if we start doing this, you know, we can speak to our body even. For example, I was told, start speaking to your body. What does your body want? Like when you have a problem, ask your body, what would your body like? And then you might ask, well, how do I do this? I don't know how to do this. You just need to give it a try. I've had that happen once with with a student that always had these questions about the exhibits in the museum, and I told him about the possibility to just ask the exhibits themselves. And he said, oh, but I'm not intuitive enough, I can't do this. And then I said, well, you just need to give it a try. If you don't ask, then there's not going to be an answer. And then we were in the museum, and he came running to me and he said, Katja, remember, imagine what this column just told me. And he gave me this incredible story that the column had told him. And he didn't think he was going to be able to do this, but he just gave it a try and had this incredible outcome. So, first of all, we need to start trying. We just need to enter the dialogue, because if we stand in front of a person and we don't start a dialogue, then there's not going to be one. So we need to start doing it. And then I also asked, so, okay, how do I filter out my own projections and actually get the essence of what this thing wants to tell me, or this object, this plant, this, I don't know, whatever it is. And this is also pretty similar to what happens with a person, you know. When we speak to a person, and we have a dialogue, there sometimes are misunderstandings, and the more we get to know this person, the less misunderstandings there will be, when we start understanding how this person functions, what this person means when they say something, and it's like a friendship. It's the same with when we connect to the divine, the life force. It's like establishing a friendship where we give time and energy, and we seek to understand what we are being told. And then it's a little bit trial and error, you know. See what you do with this information. How does it affect you, or how what results does it bring about? Maybe when you put it into practice, like for example, if you ask your body for the solution to a problem that you have, like, you know, what should I do? And then you get an answer, and then you try out maybe what you were suggested, and then see what it does. Does it work? Yeah. And then on the long run, you understand, you become more confident in trusting your intuition. And also, when you start speaking to something or get into dialogue with things around you, or yeah, anything really, the way to do it is not to force anything and to have an image of the way the answer should arrive, or what you should be told, but just put out the question and then retreat in silence and wait what comes. And maybe sometimes nothing comes, and that's fine. Don't force it. It's the same way when we talk to a person, we don't put things into their mouths. Either they choose to answer or they don't. It's about listening. And also being patient. Not projecting a particular kind of behavior on the person that you wish to receive. Yeah, and all of that really leads us to the essence of mindfulness. Because mindfulness is really being in the moment, really seeing what there is in front of us. And then when we really tune into what is in front of us, whatever it may be, all of a sudden there's so much light. And I remember what Eckhart Tolle said when he had his enlightening experience, you know, when he had this dark night of the soul where he was in his room and just felt he couldn't live with himself anymore. And then realizing that, oh, who is me and who is myself? It seems like there's two people. And then realizing that this was an illusion. And all the depression fell off. And then the next morning, he woke up and the sunlight came to his curtains, and he was just mesmerized by the beauty of the creation itself around him. It didn't need anything on top of what he just saw. Yeah, that's what happens when we really tune in to what there is and stop being chased by this social programming that wants to dumb down any individuality and get us into this speed of a computer. And realize that this is not healthy and this is not human. It's not organic. So start marveling at this incredible beauty of creation around you in every moment. Like Diogenes, when King Alexander came and had conquered the whole world and came to Diogenes, who he really admired because of his wisdom, and he was living such a simple life. He didn't do anything. He just lay in this barrel. And Alexander came to him and said, I will give you anything you want. Just ask me, what do you want from me? And Diogenes said, well, just can you move a little bit aside a little bit out of the sun? That's the only thing he wanted. Because all these things that we aspire to have, or that we are being made to aspire to have, fame and riches and success and beauty and all of that, it doesn't actually make us happy. That's an illusion. And you can see this in the example of so many celebrities who have everything that we think that we should aspire to, and they're constantly in rehabilitation centers. They're addicted to drugs, or they commit suicide, or have one marriage after the other or one divorce after the other, and things like that. It's not something that makes us happy. And maybe you have experienced that whenever you reach something that you think that you really wanted, then at first you're happy for a little while, but then there's something that's not so nice anymore, and you want something else, or you want something on top of it, or it's never really a lasting state of happiness that you achieve by having something that you think that is just the non plus ultra. Yes, so that's what I want to say today, and I wish you a beautiful week. Take time to breathe, look around, and trust yourself. Bye.